The Enchiridion by Epictetus. If you wish your children and your wife and your friends to live forever, you're stupid. For you wish to be in control of things which you cannot. You wish for things that belong to others to be your own. So likewise, if you ever wish your servant to be without fault, you are a fool. For you wish vice to not be vice, but something else. But if you wish to have your desires undisappointed, that is in your own control. Exercise, therefore, what is in your own control. He is the master of every other person who is able to confer or remove whatever that person wishes either to have or to avoid. Whoever then would be free. Let him wish nothing, let him decline nothing, which depends on others, else he must necessarily be a slave. Book 15. Remember that you must behave in life as at a dinner party. Is anything brought around to you? Put on your hand and take your share with moderation. Does it pass by you? Don't stop it. Is it not yet come? Don't stretch your desire towards it, but wait till it reaches you. Do this with regard to children, to a wife, to public posts, to riches, and you will eventually be a worthy partner of the feasts of the gods. And if you don't even take the things which are set before you, but are able to even reject them, then you will not only be a partner at the feasts of the gods, but also of their empire. For by doing this, Diogenes, Heraclitus, and others like them deservedly become and were called divine. Book 16. When you see anyone weeping in grief because his son has gone abroad or is dead, or because he has suffered in his affairs, be careful that the appearance may not misdirect you. Instead, distinguish within your own control, within your own mind, and be prepared to say, it's not the accident that distresses this person, but it doesn't distress another person. It is the judgment which he makes about it. As far as words go, however, don't reduce to his level, and certainly do not moan with him. Do not moan inwardly either. Book 17. Remember that you are an actor in a drama, of such a kind as the author pleases to make it. If short, of a short one. If long, of a long one. If it is his pleasure you should act a poor man, a cripple, a governor, or a private person, see that you acted naturally, for this is your business, to act well the character assigned you. To choose, it is another's. Book 18. When a raven happens to croak unluckily, don't allow the appearance hurry you away with it, but immediately make the distinction to yourself and say, none of these things are foretold to me, but either to my paltry body, or property, or reputation, or children, or wife. But to me all omens are lucky, if I will. For whichever of these things happens, it is in my control to derive advantage from it. Book 19. You may be unconquerable if you enter into no combat in which it is not your own control to conquer. When therefore you see anyone eminent in honors or power or in high esteem on any other account, take heed to not to be hurried away with the appearance and to pronounce him happy. For if the essence of good consists in things in our control, there will be no room for envy or emulation. But for your part, do not wish to be a general or a senator or a consul, but to be free, and the only way to this is a contempt of things not in our own control. Remember that not he who gives ill language or a blow insults, but the principle which represents these things are as insulting. When, therefore, anyone provokes you, be assured that it is your own opinion which provokes you. Try, therefore, in the first place, not to be hurried away with the appearance. For if you once gain time and respite, you will more easily command yourself. Book 21. Let death and exile, and all other things which appear terrible, be daily before your eyes, but chiefly death, and you will never entertain any abject thought, nor too eagerly covet anything. Book 22. If you have an earnest desire of attaining to philosophy, prepare yourself from the very first to be laughed at, to be sneered by the multitude, to hear them say, "He's returned to us a philosopher all at once." And whence this supercilious look? Now, for your part, do not have a supercilious look indeed, but keep steadily to those which appear best to you as appointed by God to this station. For remember that, if you adhere to the same point, those very persons who at first ridiculed will admire you. But if you are conquered by them, you will incur a double ridicule. Book 23. If you ever happen to turn your attention to externals so as to please anyone, be assured that you have ruined your scheme of life. Be contented, then, in everything, with being a philosopher. And, if you wish to be thought so likewise by anyone, appear to yourself, and it will suffice you. Book 24. Don't allow such considerations as these to distress you. I will live in dishonor, and nobody anywhere. For if dishonor is an evil, you can no more be involved in an evil by the means of another, than be engaged in anything base. Is it any business of yours, then, to get power or to be admitted to an entertainment? By no means. How, then, after all, is this a dishonor? And how is it true that you will be nobody anywhere, when you ought to be somebody in those things only which are in your own control, in which you may be of the greatest consequence? But my friends will be unassisted. What do you mean by unassisted? They will not have money from you, nor will you make them Roman citizens. Who told you, then, that these are among the things in our own control, and not the affair of others? And who can give to another the things which he has not himself? Well, but get them, then, that we too may have a share. If I could get them with the preservation of my own honor and fidelity and greatness of mind, show me the way, and I will get them. But if you require me to lose my own proper good, that you may gain what is not good, consider how inequitable and foolish you are. Besides, which would you rather have, a sum of money, or a friend of fidelity and honor? Rather assist me, then, to gain this character than require me to do those things by which I may lose it. Well, but my country, say you, as far as depends on me, will be unassisted. Here again, what assistance is this you mean? It will not have porticos nor baths of your providing. And what signifies that? Why, neither does a smith provided with shoes, or a shoemaker with arms. It is enough if every one fully performs his own proper business, and were you to supply it with another citizen of honor and fidelity, would not he be of use to it? Yes. Therefore, neither are you yourself useless to it. What place, then, say you, will I hold in the state? Whatever you can hold with the preservation of your fidelity and honor. But if, by desiring to be useful to that, you lose these, of what use can you be to your own country when you are becoming faithless and void of shame? Book 25. Is anyone preferred before you in an entertainment, or in a compliment, or in being admitted to a consultation? If these things are good, you ought to be glad that he has gotten them. If they are evil, do not be grieved that you have not gotten them. And remember that you cannot, without using the same means which others do, to acquire things not in your own control, expect to be thought worthy of an equal share of them. For how can he who does not frequent the door of any great man, does not attend him, does not praise him, have an equal share with him who does? You are unjust, then, and insatiable, if you are unwilling to pay the price for which these things are sold, and would have them for nothing. For how much is lettuce sold? 50 cents, for instance. If another, then, paying 50 cents, takes the lettuce, and you not paying it, go without them. Don't imagine that he has gained an advantage over you. For as he has the lettuce, so you have the 50 cents which you do not give. So, in the present case, you have not been invited to such a person's entertainment, because you have not paid him the price for which a supper is sold. It is sold for praise. It is sold for attendance. Give him then the value. It is for your advantage. But if you would, at the same time, not pay the one and yet receive the other, you are insatiable and a blockhead. Have you nothing then instead of the supper? Yes, indeed, you have. Then not praising him, whom you don't like to praise, then not bearing with his behavior at coming in. Book 26. The will of nature may be learned from those things in which we don't distinguish from each other. For example, when our neighbor's boy breaks a cup, or the like, we are presently ready to say, these things will happen. Be assured, then, that when your own cup likewise is broken, you ought to be affected just as when another's cup was broken. Apply this in a manner to greater things. Is the child or wife of another dead? There is no one who would not say, this is a human accident. But if anyone's own child happens to die, it is presently, alas, how wretched am I? But it should be remembered how we are affected in hearing the same thing concerning others.